Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Death Valley National Park. This is my first time to Death Valley. This is actually my 14th national park I've visited, and this is also my first time visiting the state of California, which is pretty cool. So I'm standing here at Dante's Point in Death Valley National Park. I think we're about around 5,000 feet above sea level here, and actually the lowest point in all of North America is just down there. That's Badwater Basin in Death Valley, and is 282 feet below sea level. There is the highest point in Death Valley National Park. Snow-covered peaks are there. That is Telescope Peak, which is just, I believe it's 11,039 feet above sea level, so that's a pretty big elevation change there from the lowest point in North America at 282 feet below sea level all the way up to the highest point in Death Valley National Park at over 11,000 feet. And we were standing at about 5,000 feet here, so it just gives a really amazing view of this whole section of Death Valley National Park. I am planning on doing a couple of shorter hikes today. I'm actually getting over a cold right now still, which maybe you can tell my voice sounds a little stuffy at the moment. So I'm not going to do anything too crazy today. I don't think, but I'm planning on being in Death Valley for a few days. I just flew back into Las Vegas yesterday. I had left my car there when I was out east visiting family. I went to Virginia, visit my sister and my niece, which you can see my last two videos I put out were from Virginia. And then I went to Florida for 5 days to visit my parents, which I didn't film anything there. But my first impressions of Death Valley National Park so far is, well, I mean, it's pretty stunning, honestly. You can see here, it's, yeah, I didn't know. I mean, I'd seen photos of it. I did a lot of research on like trails and stuff I wanted to hike, but yeah, once you get here, you're like, wow, this is pretty impressive. This is an amazing, beautiful national park so far, and I've barely seen anything. So we'll see how the rest of the visit goes. But I'm gonna start getting going on a couple more hikes today, I think. So maybe we're gonna hike back up this hill here, back to the parking lot at Dante's View, and see what else we get up to. I thought I'd take a bit more time to explain like why I'm out here right now and kind of like what's going on. But this road trip that I'm starting here today in Death Valley National Park is a trip I've been planning for probably like 6 months or something like that. I have 4 months off of work from the beginning of November until the beginning of March, so I do not start working again until the first week of March, which is amazing to have a job that allows me to take that much time off. And I knew that was going to happen, so I've been planning this trip, this road trip that I've been planning on taking through Central and Southern California for the past like 5 or 6 months. I've been planning out this trip. And yeah, Death Valley is the first stop. Now I've already basically been off work for like 2 weeks. My season at my job ended the first week of November. I had been living in Page, Arizona, and working just over the border in southern Utah on Lake Powell since February. First 2 weeks, I ended up flying out east. I went to Virginia, which you would have seen a couple of videos on my channel where I went to Shenandoah National Park and everything. And then I went to Florida to see my parents. And then I flew back to Vegas, where my car was waiting for me. And yeah, I drove out to Death Valley this morning. Now this is gonna be my first day in Death Valley. I was planning on spending a few days here. I'm probably spending at least like 2 more days in Death Valley. Just I have some hikes planned that I want to do here, which I did a couple of them today, but I'm not really in a rush because I have so much time. Any other road trip I've been on, I've actually had much more like a shorter amount of time before I had to be back home generally, or had other plans or something, but I have the next couple months kind of free. So really this is like the most ambitious road trip I've ever planned by a long shot. So I'm planning on being on the road for almost 2 months until early January. After here, a few days in Death Valley, I'm going to head over to a small town called Lone Pine, California, on the east side of the Sierras. I'm planning on camping in a spot called the Alabama Hills, which is very well known, pretty popular spot, but it's somewhere I've wanted to go for a couple of years now. It looks really cool. After that, I'll be driving, I think, about an hour further north of a town called Bishop, California. There's a small little hostel there that I found online like a few years ago that I kind of just wanted to stay in. It's on the east side of the Sierra Nevada mountains, and yeah, I'm just gonna take about 4 days and stay there just to get off the road and be able to like shower and be in a building again, because living out of your car, you know, it's really cool, but you just need some breaks from the road. So I'm trying to build breaks into this trip where I pay to stay in like hostels and Airbnbs and stuff along the way. And then from there, I will drive all the way south to Joshua Tree National Park and probably spend around 5 or 6 days down there just to kind of take it slow. I'm not in a rush, so I'm hanging out there for a bit, take it easy. Then probably plan on heading down to San Diego the first week of December and spend a few days there. I booked a hostel there as well, just to again get off the road and you know, get back to civilization for a few days. And then after that, as long as everything goes to plan, I do plan on driving all the way up the central coast of California to San Francisco, and then after that I will be cutting east and driving all the way back to Utah in early January. So I will be going back to Utah in early January. That is the plan. And I actually do already have a job lined up for next year. And yeah, I'll be living in Utah again. I'm working for the same company I was working for this past year, but I've transferred to a different location in Utah, and somewhere that I think, well, it's one of my favorite places I've ever been. I will reveal in a future video, you know, where I'm moving next year. But yeah, it's one of my favorite places I've ever been. I've made a few videos there in the past, and I'm looking forward to kind of settling down there for a bit, spending the year there next year, and seeing if it's somewhere I want to try and maybe stay a little bit more longer term. But again, in a couple months, I'll have some content about that, but there will be loads of content from this trip through Central and Southern California over the next couple months, so definitely stay tuned, and it's all starting here in Death Valley National Park. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video here for today from Death Valley National Park. My first time here, and the first day I'll be spending here on this trip. This is the sunset from Dante's Overlook. And hopefully I got some decent shots of that. I really love just seeing like these snow-capped mountains there in the background, and the highest peak in the entire park, Telescope Peak. A little over 11,000 feet above sea level. It's a really amazing view. Definitely won't ever get old, and I'm pretty impressed with Death Valley so far. But if you want to see more videos from Death Valley National Park and more videos from the rest of this road trip and beyond, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Down below, plenty more content coming. If you do want to support my content on my channel, feel free to do that on my Ko-fi page, which is linked down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.